Hey you guys, what's up? Happy September! I'm feeling all the fall vibes. If you're not yet, then maybe you won't be into that, to this video concept. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite palettes to reach for during the fall season. I've pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've just pulled 5. I do still have some palettes back there that I need to try, so maybe those will be listed next year, but for now I just have 5 that I really feel like I gravitate toward during this time of year. So if you want to see what those are, be sure to go ahead and stay tuned. If you're new here, I'm Megan. I post every Tuesday, Monday, Thursday. Yeah, and if you like this video, of course, go ahead and just give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and jump in, you guys. Okay, so the first palette I'm going to chat about is the one that I've had for, this is its 3rd fall season, and it's really the only time I reach for this palette, and I don't know why, because I really love it. Forms great quality, all the things. It's a Huda Topaz Obsessions. I don't know why, but the only time I ever want to reach for this is during this time of year. Honestly, you just get the most beautiful tones in here. The shimmers are so yummy. They pair really well with the mattes that you get in here. I would say this one is probably my favorite for that like warm kind of look with a little bit of orange reflex. But wow, they are all super stunning. They pair with the oranges and the brown really well. I also like this yellow for this time of year as well, because it just gives that like pumpkin vibes, that yummy warm pumpkin vibe kind of situation. So this is one of my favorites to pull out during this time of year, and I will be probably just setting this stack back there to have on hand and to reach for, because like I said, I'm gonna be vibing with more of these tones. And yeah, because this doesn't really get a lot of love any other time throughout the year. I almost decluttered it, but I'm like, it's one of my favorite fall palettes, you know? So get ready to see some looks with this. If you would love a 3 looks 1 palette with any of these that I'm going to be sharing today, please leave that in the comments, so I'll be sure to bump these up on the list. But yeah, so that's the first palette that I love to reach for during the fall time. The next palette I've actually already filmed a 3 looks 1 palette for, so I will link that video below and in the eye if you are curious. But it is the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude. Wow, I just love these tones, and this is a palette that I want to reach for more, but I just have so many palettes that it doesn't get used like it should and like it deserves. But wow, I love this color story. It's definitely not as like warm and chocolatey as I thought it would be, but the tones aren't like super bright vibey pink. Like they can be more of a yummy, deeper maroon kind of situation. And then you get some really gorgeous shimmers and like these like duochrome shades in here. This palette is honestly so stunning, you guys. Which some of these shades are in my project pan, my project Huda Beauty, which I have not updated. This will be month 2. But I hadn't really been using my Huda palettes, not because I didn't want to, because I kind of had an influx of new palettes. So I've been trying to find a balance, probably never will. But now that we're into the fall time, I can definitely see myself wanting to reach for this more. So this probably will be getting some more love so that I can update my Project Huda Beauty. But yeah, this one is just so stinking divine, you guys. Like so good. In my opinion, this is one of her best palettes that she has released. The formulation is superior to the Topaz. The mattes are beautiful, blendable, pigmented. The shimmers are just out of this world, and these shades here are so special because they have like a really gorgeous flip to them. I love this shade. But yeah, this is definitely a palette that is going to be getting some more love from me as we enter the fall time, and I'm really excited about it. Next up, we have the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions, and this is the OG one. Honestly, I feel like I haven't used this in what's been too long. I really love this palette. It has some really beautiful, great special shades. I feel like I never get tired of this palette. Even if some of the looks I create are fairly similar, they're always still so stinking beautiful that I just cannot get enough. The palette itself is so easy to, oh, that's annoying, is so easy to work with in general. I don't have any issues with any kind of creasing or anything like that. The mattes are very pigmented, so I do go in with a lighter hand, but they blend out beautifully. They build up beautifully. As you guys can tell, this palette is very well loved, and honestly, if I had a smaller collection, it would be even more beat to crap because it is hands down in my top 5. The formulation is just chef's kiss, and I know the price tag on this one is stupid, especially for like a neutrals palette, but in my opinion, I'm so glad that I picked it up. Like, I have zero regrets. I know in the fall Sephora does a fall sale, like 20% off of your rouge. That could be a good time to pick it up, or perhaps Black Friday, maybe Patrick Ta will be doing something. But this is one I would recommend for sure. One of the best palettes in my collection, especially if you're a nudes gal like myself, then I really feel like you would enjoy this one. I also know that there's a lot of people that got this in PR that have it listed over on Mercari. So you can get a pretty much new one, heavily discounted. So I would look there as well. I always try to do that when I'm like wanting to bring a new palette into my collection. I'm like, can I find it on Mercari first? Because then I also feel better about, you know, I'm not creating more waste. I'm taking this palette off someone else's hands, yada, yada, yada. But this is one that I would definitely highly recommend. And I can't wait to dabble in again. She's yummy. The next palette is a little bit newer to my collection. It is the Gemini from Milk Cosmetics. They recently relaunched this. You couldn't get it for the longest time, and I had so much regret about not picking it up. Like, this was one that just lived rent-free in my head. So when they announced that they were going to be relaunching it, I was hands down picking it up. The color story is just yum. Grungy yumminess. And what had held me off from it the first time was, like, a lot of people chat about how Milk's formulation is really inconsistent. And I can't speak to that because this is my first palette from the brand. But what I will say about this palette is that the formulation is absolutely beautiful, you guys. I don't have any issues blending this out. They build up really nicely. They are very pigmented though, I will tell you that. So a little goes a long way. Like, you would never be able to guess like the amount of times I've used this palette because it virtually looks untouched. But I have done several looks with it. I also just think that these shimmer tones in here are beautiful. Like, that's another thing. I never thought I'd be someone to pick up a palette that is, you know, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mattes and 2 shimmers. But this palette, like, when I create looks with it, I don't mind doing a all matte look because of how beautiful the grungy tones are. Like, the look looks good just being matte. Like, it looks good. But if I want to add the shimmer, I can add one of those. I've even layered them together and it looks beautiful. I just think that this is a really gorgeous fall time palette that, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to dig into. To be honest, I might film my 3 looks 1 palette with this next. It was on my list to do anyway, but now I'm just itching to use it now. Like, oh my goodness. These, like, these tones, I know I've already said it, but wow, you guys, these tones are so stunning. So I cannot wait to dig into this. Next up and last up, if you're kind of like familiar with my collection and what I have going on, then this one probably isn't a surprise. I've actually been really digging into this palette over the past couple weeks on Instagram. I recently did a 3 looks 1 palette with it and I forgot how much I loved it, and I was just feeling really, really inspired, so I kept playing with it. It is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice Palette. Oh, they really did something with this one. This is also, I know some friends have picked it up over on Mercari as well, so I would check that out if you are having some FOMO about this one, because it is no longer available, so I do apologize about that, but I wanted to mention it because I know a lot of people do have this palette, and they did something with this one. The color story is truly so unique and so beautiful. Like the way that they incorporated the purples and the pink tones with these grungy greens, oranges, and browns. The only thing which I was talking to a friend in the DMs about this the other day, the only thing that I really feel like this palette is missing is like a really chocolatey shimmer or like a more burnt orange shimmer. I do feel like it could have used that. So like maybe instead of, you know, this like pink shimmer shade, because these ones are really special and sparkly. This one's kind of meh. So maybe instead of this crisp shade, incorporating like a gorgeous like burnt orange shimmer that's like this formulation, or like a brown like that, I feel like that would have even elevated it even more. But I do love this palette. I enjoy it. Like I said, I've really just been, at this point over on IG when I'm filming this, I've been dabbling in this for about a week now. And I plan to keep it out on my vanity to continue using because I'm really just enjoying getting to know it and re-exploring it. This shade here is hands down one of my favorite greens, which I wonder, no, they're not the same. I was like, there's a similar one in here, but they're not the same. But yeah, this one is just stunning. It's a fall must have in my opinion. This one isn't scented, which I enjoy. I think the packaging is so cute, and it just screams all the fall vibes. So yeah, these are definitely going to be my top palettes that I'm using during this fall season. Like I mentioned, if there are any, let's see which ones. So I haven't done a 3 looks 1 palette with the Patrick Ta, the Gemini, or the Topaz. If you guys want to see that, let me know. I will link the 3 looks 1 palette with the Huda Naughty Nude and then the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice below and in the eye, so that you guys can check that out if you want to. Some inspo for looks, whatnot, that kind of sort of thing. If you, no, I don't know what I'm saying here. What palettes do you tend to reach for in the fall? Let me know, whether it be a specific palette, tones, whatever. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!